It seemed like a normal day at first. I was just walking around when I saw what looked like a disc of some kind on the ground. As I get closer, I saw it was a Blue's Clues DVD. I pick it up and I look at the other side. It was practically placed to see what it was hardly scratched at all. Oh, this would be good for Jordan, I said to myself. But I flipped the DVD over and saw the written in dark marker. Don't watch. Confused and a little concerned, I watched it before letting Jordan watch it. I thought it was weird when I saw Steve, Blue's co-star of the show, was animated. Then I thought it was just for that episode. But when I noticed that the house was worn down, windows were broken, boards were rotting, and there were holes on the walls. Then Steve stuck his head out one of the windows and said his signature opening line. "Hey out there, it's me, Steve. Have you seen Blue, my puppy?" Only he sounded a bit irritated rather than his usually tiered character is supposed to sound. But then that Blue appeared from behind a bush in the front of the house. Then it took up a sprint towards the backyard rather than going to the front doggy door like she normally did. Steve then disappeared back in the house. The screen went to static for a moment, until the only sound was an intensely frightening shriek of a dog scream out of pain. Thought it was coming out outside. I kept watching. The screen exit the static, and we're back to the next scene. Steve was wearing a black hoodie and black baggy jeans and black combat boots. It was strange to see Steve that way, and even though his hood was up, I could tell it was him. I could also tell that something was wrong. An early chill crawled up my spine. But I could also tell that something was wrong. An eerie sound shook my spine when I was about to turn it off when a blood-curdling feel high-pitched green-black stream by the studio speakers. The pitch and the volume of it pounced for my ears. It hurt so much I had to cover them. Thought thinking might kill my hearing. It went on for what I felt like hours. When it stopped, I looked up to see a knife covered in blood, just falling with Steve's hand. I was confused for a moment. Then I saw the burly, mutiny course of the blue-haired, carefree puppy lying lifeless on the floor. Blood pooling around her body, her intestines were spilled out of her belly, and the blood looked so real that I almost thought it was coming from the TV. It was then that Steve's brother, Joe came in and see the aftermath of the event and just hadn't taken place. He screamed so loud that it was louder than the first. I covered my ears again, but I did take my eyes off the screen. Joe ran out the door in a terrified sprint, with Steve calmly walking after him. It made me think of something about a slasher film. Joe ran what seemed like 10 minutes. Then finally came to rest behind a tree, catching his breath. There was no sound at this point, only the faint sound of Joe's breathing. Then there was a snapping noise like a twig breaking under the weight of someone's foot. Behind it, someone heavily woke, stuffed in fear. You couldn't hear any footsteps, only the sound of Joe's heartbeat, quicking and pounding against the chest. Then everything went quiet. The camera view changed, and I was watching through someone else's eyes. They were slowly approaching the tree when they were directly behind it. The screen changed again, not to static, it was mid black, and all I could hear was the sound of a blade cruising in and a man screaming in intense pain. I knew immediately it was Steve attacking Joe, and I saw the knife piercing Joe's body again and again and again. I didn't know how many times I heard that sound. The screen was still black then, and I began to see what looked like blood trailing down the TV screen. It looked so real, like a bucket had been poured on the top of the TV. After a moment, the screen went to black, back to normal. The scene before me was enough to make me almost throw up, but I managed to hold it back. The screen never turned now, and I was utterly terrified to see that Steve was standing over Joe's remains. Only now he was no longer animated at this point. He was real, and the man on the ground no longer looked like Joe. I'm not even sure if it was Steve. The way his hood is making it impossible to see the top half of his face. I could clearly see the gleefully twisted smile upon his lips as he looked down upon his handiwork. The camera then focused on the man who was literally thought would be Joe. The image I saw was sickening, and I couldn't hold it back anymore. I threw up. It burned to do so. Joe, or the man I thought it was Joe, was stabbed to me. It looked like at least 10 times in the neck, and his stomach was torn with an X shape. The killer's knife was buried firmly in the poor man's heart. His eyes were torn out and put into his hands, which were cruelly cut from his arms. The same horse feet and head. The killer then pulled out a knife and ran at whoever was holding the camera. Who dropped the camera, and I could see it tumbling towards the ground. Unfortunately, it landed faced away from the two people. All I could hear was the cameraman screaming in pain. Find this tower, and Phil cries for help. Now, after a minute, the killer re-entered the camera view. I pointed at the knife and said something angrily, yet happily. What he was thinking about sounded like Russian. I haven't spoken of this night for years, and I haven't figured out who left that DVD there. I never report the DVD to the police. I am a mistake I will never do make again. After watching it, I took it out of the DVD player and I snapped it into pieces, so I thought nobody else could watch it. I still have nightmares about everyone out there. If I could go back time, I'd stop myself from picking up the disc, I would. In fact, I would actually get rid of it right then and there. I had no information on the killer. I have looked up this kind of killing that I could never find anything that matches this type. Brutally, nowhere.